says, mijo, something's gonna blow. Flags fade on the old hotel, tourists drink their rum and go. Radio talks into accents about a brand new vote. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, stars and stripes in the Caribbean. Same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Busted barrio, kids swap caps, argy calls. One said soon we're buying hot dogs in a big new stadium wall. Street band plays old boleros, slides into something strange. A pledge in a different language, but the hope feels just the same. In the Caribbean, same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, side by side on that banner we run. From Havana down to Key West, we rise as 51. Dust on the truck bed, mile after mile. Fields stretch out wide like they got a mind of their own. Red sign at the hall, coffee gone cold. Everybody talking with a fire in their bones. Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October is coming and we want something more. October 19th, we're standing up. October 19th, we've had enough. Alberta singing loud, let the whole world hear. October 19th, freedom's here. Hard hats on hooks, checks run thin, hands on the ledger and the same old grin. From the shop to the rig, from the barn to the street, people keep asking, what do we believe? Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October
Good morning. Welcome to the NPC show. Deprogramming the world one NPC at a time. I'm your host, Frank. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. Well, I just plopped down in my chair. I'm like so not prepared right now. Holy crap. There's a lot of news. It just keeps pouring in. I was trying to set up. There's a lot of things to set up during that countdown, and that's why there is a countdown. Sorry about that. And hit the like button, guys. Share this out. I don't even have time to post that. Because we are already live. We're already live. Things are already going. They're chugging along. I don't exactly have... God, what a disaster. Okay, at least that's good to go. All right, we're good there. Boy, what a mess if you start. Thank you very much, David. I know that's probably David Stores. It is David Stores. Look at that. Thank you very much, David Stores, for the donation. Oh, I'm not even on camera yet. There we go. Thank you, David. Thank you, David, for the every day. You're keeping the channel alive every day. By the way, today is Curious Cat and Constitutional Carrie's birthday. Look at that. Congratulations on making it around the sun one more time. Constitutional Carrie and Curious Cat. We got Curious Cat on, well, she's normally on Fox, so she's not right now. But I'm sure she'll pop in just a bit. Hopefully she will rewind and see her birthday that we celebrated her and her birthday. And today's no, that's a different Carrie. That's Cool Creations Carrie. We also have a Constitutional Carrie. She's not here. It's okay. She doesn't like celebrating her birthday anyways. Curious Cat, I'm sure does though. I think she's late today. It's okay. We'll find her later. Maybe we'll celebrate later. Yeah. Let's see. That is an interesting little pop-up story right there. Hold on. Surveillance footage. What is this one? Is this? Do we have new surveillance footage of the Oh, we've seen that one. That's not new. That's not new, Eric. Good Lord. Anyways, Supreme Court. Okay. Well, we will wait for Curious Cat to show up. I will say happy birthday to her when she does. Give me 1 second. Here. One more right there. We got this one. All right. I think we're ready to go. 2 more. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. We are all ready to go, other than the fact that there's probably a lot more. Oh, that is okay. Well, at least you got the same theory that I do. Paul Saran. Let's see. Ex-girlfriend claimed they could not corroborate allegations. Huh. So New York Times are trying to cover up for Graham Platner, huh? Yeah, our favorite Nazi, our favorite Democrat Nazi. He's just suspended his campaign. He's out. He is dunzos, guys. He's dunzos. Anywho, give me 1 second. There's one more that I wanted to add to the show. That popped up. We have a long show today, guys. A long show followed by a there it is. Followed by a not too long of a watch party, but Trump is overseas. He's in Turkey, which makes me nervous. But we do have the bilateral meeting with him in Turkey. So give me 1 second. Is Curious Cat in yet? Damn it, Curious Cat. Meow meow meow. Not here. Anyways, let's say good morning to everyone. Hello to everyone. Good morning, Josie, David. Thank you for the donation, David. Mary, Barry, good to see you. Dawn, the other Mary, good to see you. Rodney, Bobby, Alan, Bendy, Stephen, Serene, Sherry, Diamond G, Danny, Molly Brown, good to see you. Rhoda, Carrie, Bourbon, Lisa, good to see you, dear. Shadow, Molly, Relibelindens, good to see you. How do you pronounce that? Roland Buns? Roland Buns. We'll call you Roland Buns. That's really gay if you're a guy, but it's okay. We'll go with Roland Buns. Hello, Kevin. Good to see you. Lisa, Electric, good to see you. Kathy, good morning, Kathy. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Doreen. Let's see. David, Barry, Tara, Patriot66, good morning to you. Hello to everyone over on Rumble. We've got Hobo, Josie, Mary, good to see you, be our resident Hobo here. Dixie, Jean, good to see you. Josie, Mary, Liberty, and Jillian, good morning to you, dear. Terry, and who else do we have? Campbell and Casey Super Trucker, Cricket Noises, good to see all of you, good morning. And hello to Seabear and Stephanie Sprague on Foxhole. And if you see Curious Cat Seller, I said happy, let me type that in. Happy birthday, Curious Cat. We'll do a cake. We'll do a party emoji. We'll do a cat. Do a cat. Let's put the cat in front of the cake. That's nice, so the cat can eat cake. There we go. That's nice. At least she'll see that if she pops in later, and she'll know that we celebrated her birthday without her. It's okay. People are late sometimes. It's just how it goes. Oh, we got another angle of that, huh? Yeah, lots going on, guys. Lots going on. We got a building partially collapsing in Manhattan. Okay, that's interesting. Dang. Let's see. Where are we at? I think we're ready to go. We're ready to start. All right, let's get going, guys. Thank you very much again, David. Right. First story of the day. This guy right here, who's an illegal, he was arrested for banging someone forcefully. Yeah, did I switch scenes? Yes, I did. The monster was only allowed free because local Democrats dropped his prior charges. So again, oh, geez, Virginia's gonna run by her. It's gonna get way worse with her around. Holy crap. Anywho, his criminal records show that he has twice arrested for aggravated assault, twice of property damage, attempted maiming, failure to appear, aggravated assault with a weapon, twice of assault, drug possession, illegal re-entry, making a false report, and obstructing justice. He was previously arrested for assault, abduction, identity theft, and drug possession and larceny. But they went ahead and let him go. Wow. Repeat offender there, huh? Anyways, that's a 3-minute little news segment out there, but we have a lot to get through. Next story. This guy right here who was 3 times deported, he's an illegal beancake. He ended a 6-year-old and also injured another girl and the mother. And this person ran a stop sign at a high speed. You figured if you're going to be running stop signs, you would at least drive speed limit. No, this guy had his own agenda here. Yeah. On a 4-year-old brother. So the girl's 4-year-old brother seriously injured, as well as the mother, and the daughter's gone. Thanks to him. His name is Jamie Santiago Corone. Pronunciation, guys. Get their names right or they get real mad. Corone. That's how you pronounce it. It's Corone beer. Anyways, I hope you enjoy your time at CCOT. They should send you to Eswatini. Telling you, they need to stop telling people where they're being deported. That way they can't go and get them back. Bullshit. Kilmar Garcia is still out, guys. He's still out running MS-13 right now in Maryland. Next story. We talked about this guy here, the Haitian illegal who got a CDL in Massachusetts, mowed down a cop. That guy's dead. He's, I believe, on his way out. Again, don't send him to Haiti. Send this one right here to CCOT, because we know blacks and Mexicans get along real well, don't they? Maybe it'll teach them to be less racist and civil. And that way, when Gavin Newsom steals the next election and lets all the CCOT people come back, they'll just get along in America, the blacks and the Mexicans, right? The Mexicans. Anyways, so this incident here, as well as the other guy driving through a stop sign and mowing down a whole family, a lot of outrage. Tom Holman says that they are going to be surging into CDL stations.
A similar story. You're trying to stamp it out. Tell us where we are on that.
Well, look, we removed thousands of illegal aliens with CDLs. We're working very closely with many states. DHS is working hand in hand with Sean Duffy and his department. So the problem is we're working very well with red states. Blue states is still a struggle, right? Places like New York, I mean, ICE and CBP can't even get access to the DMV database. to run the checks. So, you know, the continuation of sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, you know, thank God, you know, Todd Blanche is suing these cities as they come up, and we got to keep suing them. But we're out there, you know, Dana enforcing law. We're out there looking for these illegal aliens, CDLs. In the last
Someone didn't chew gum today.
5 days, ICE has arrested over 10,000 illegal aliens, which is a record for the
And have a
It's okay. He's probably busy. Next story. Tom Homan also reveals. Oh no, that's something else. What was this one about? Tom Homan says, blue states. Oh yeah, blue states are actively concealing the CDL data. So here's the problem, right? When you give out CDLs, do you necessarily report it to the feds, right? So when they ask for CDL data, guess what? They not only provide the list, they provide the count. So how do you know how many are actually hidden and how many are reported, right? So that's about CDLs and blue cities actually trying to hide that. This one here is about them surging ICE agents at CDL stations.
driver's license revoked as of May 1st was over 28,000, which seems significant. But out of how many? Like, what do you know what the denominator is?
That's a work in progress, because again, getting information from, you know, some of the sanctuary states is a struggle, and Sean Duffy's suing, DOJ suing, so we're trying to get all this information we can. And we got a lot of it. We got a lot of people we're looking for. We're actually, some states we're actually working way stations with the troopers trying to get these people as they're coming through. So it's a work in progress. President Trump's serious about this. ICE is out there with the local law enforcement and state law enforcement, wherever they will allow us to work with them, to ID these people and take them off the street.
Tom, I want you to listen to Governor Healy.
That's the end of that clip there. Next story. Oh yeah, Tom Homan reveals that there's a sudden spike in ICE arrests who are not criminals or worst of the worst. Yeah, guys. That's how you do it. You tell them, yeah, we're just going to get criminals, and then you just go get the rest of them. We don't make a fuss out of it, right? Yeah, by the way, you know, I was just thinking the other day, you guys remember how ICE has a very bad rap because of the whole Alex Pretty thing? And then all of a sudden there was a shutdown, and then ICE had to be deployed at all the airports, and then everyone got to see ICE up close and personal with the free water bottles and whatnot, helping people get checked in. And then that basically improved their public image, right? Now suddenly, remember yesterday we talked about the Harvard poll that's showing that the majority of Americans support ICE now. Yeah, that's a very clever, very clever thing with Donald Trump right there, deploying ICE to airports to help people. Yeah, and now that we have a majority support, bam, we do this. We surge them out of there, right? Even the non-criminals. Technically, they are criminals. They're here illegally. You know, in Russia, they imprison you for 1 year and give you hard labor for 12 hours a day for being there, for overstaying your visa in Russia. Yeah. A lot of other countries do the same thing. We're the only ones stupid enough to give them a free hotel and cell phone and snap cards.
Well, I've said from day one, everybody's on the table. And if you look at the numbers, what I looked at yesterday, just over half of everybody we're arresting is a criminal. So about half are non-criminals. So everybody's on the table. You know, when President Trump wants to prioritize public safety threats, yeah, we may prioritize, and we got a list. We got 4 criminals and 4 non-criminals. Try to get the child predator first. But bottom line is, everybody's on the table. The numbers show it's about half and half now. So, you know, and with the more additional resources we got from the reconciliation bill, you wait to see what the numbers are this year. I'm not going to say in the last week, ICE has broken historic records every single day, and we're not going to stop. We're going to add more resources. We're going to add more targeting. We got millions of people we need to find in the next couple of years, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, there's about 30 million people.
Yeah, she just stated right there about 30 million people to get out of here. There are 15 already here, and Biden let in another 15. Or let in another 20, and then we got half of them, like about 5 million. I don't think we got 5 million out, but how many self-deported? Like 1.2 million, and then plus whatever we got out of there. Next story. University of Utah exceeds double of the H-1B foreign visa filings over the last 2 years. Again, Linda McMahon. Can you please defund some of these guys? Holy crap. At least make them go to court to fight for their funding. Drain their resources in some way that you can. You also, by the way, be stimulating work. You'll be creating a lot more jobs for lawyers, right? So that's kind of good for the economy, that they're going to be paying more taxes. You'll be having more revenues at the federal and state level because these lawyers are going to be paying taxes. You should do that. Make them fight for the funding that they want. Every school that gets busted being woke or being not very, pro-American. I mean, how are you going to do this? Oh, really? These H-1B visa guys, they're better teachers than us, huh? They don't even speak English well. How's that possible? Most of us don't even understand some of these Indian professors from Harvard University. You know, the one in Toronto? Harvard University in Toronto? Yeah. That's a thing. Yeah, so there's that. Next story. So after the Supreme Court decision on birthright citizenship, Representative Brian Harrison demands that Texas Department of Health immediately stop issuing birth certificates using non-citizens. Now, again, Eric Daughtry, I don't know if you got it. I'm guessing you're using AI to write your articles because this is the third time this month where there's literally, I think, like the first or second paragraph of your post. I think yesterday was the last paragraph, but it literally contradicts what you just said. You literally just said, stop issuing birth certificates using non-citizens. Have no idea what that means. Do you mean stop issuing birth certificates to non-citizens? Because yesterday you had a post that literally said 56% support ICE while 44% approve of ICE. It's like, wait, well, that's 100% if you combine that. What is it? I think they're using AI to write. And by the way, Eric, not your fault, but these AI apps, they're developed by liberals. So I wouldn't be surprised if this AI knows exactly who you are and it hates you and is screwing up all your articles. But there's just a whole lot of posts by you where it's just the end of the sentence contradicts the beginning of the sentence. How is that possible? Only AI can do something that stupid. Yeah. Anyways, I think they mean stop issuing birth certificates to non-citizens. He says that they have the existing authority to do it now, make it happen. Yeah, because Texas is about to get stolen. It wasn't too far off from being stolen in 2020. Next story. These two here got busted in a $750,000 snap fraud multi-state. Yes, they are a Durka. Last name's Dimitru. Both last names are Dimitru. Oh, okay, no, they're not Durkas. They're San Mexicans.
The Mexican.
San Mexicans. Yeah. So Tuesday, takedown this out of the Justice Department. These two basically did multi-state snap fraud. Now you know why Arab-owned mini-marts are able to undercut the white-owned ones. Yeah, because they're not paying full price for it. They're getting snap cards. They're buying it all on a government dime, and they're just selling it for less than all of their competitors. In fact, they're probably selling it for the price of wholesale at the little mini marts. Now you know why they're so successful, huh? Yeah, but BIPOC success is always ridden on white money. Next story. Ty Clevenger drops a bombshell and says that the FBI withheld hundreds of Seth Rich documents in previously hidden skiff room at the headquarters. So at the headquarters of the FBI, there was a skiff room, and they found documents involving him in burn bags. Unfortunately, because there are a bunch of lazy crooks who don't want to do work, and that's why they steal, they forgot to burn the bag. Yeah. Well, so much for that. So hopefully we get some information on this soon. Ty Clevenger wrote this. Oh shit, that's long. Today, an attorney for the government told me that I would soon be getting confirmation that several hundred pages of documents related to Seth Rich were found in a previously hidden room at FBI headquarters. You may recall that on July 30th, 2025, Fox News reported that newly installed FBI Director Kash Patel and his leadership team had located. Oh, so it's the one that Kash Patel's been talking about, except they're actually going to be released soon, and they actually include stuff about Seth Rich. Interesting. So these are the burn bags that they're talking about. He also adds. He concludes it by saying, "By the way, I'm not suicidal. I feel great." Ty Clevenger says that. Next story. The Hill yesterday accidentally posted this. It's a headline. The article is headlined, "Do not use a look back at Mitch McConnell's time in the Senate." Yeah, so like a memorial. Okay, by the way, they have deleted this since. Okay, they have deleted this since, and we've been talking about Mitch McConnell. There was a 911 call from about a month ago where he was I mean, Kathy could explain it because she's an EMT, or was an EMT, and she basically says that at that age, when you get a call for something like that, he's gone. He ain't coming back. They might be propping him up like they did for this lady right here, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which, by the way, officially passed in 2020. Yet somehow Fox News, they accidentally showed this on screen for like 1 second. Okay, 1933 to 2019. Yeah, they hid her death for a whole year, trying to wait it out so that Joe Biden could be the one to replace her. I don't know how the Trump admin, the first admin, dug it out and got them to release the news that she's no longer with us, so that Trump can replace her. Unfortunately, with Amy Coney Barrett, should not have been a thing there. Yeah, I don't know. He must have threatened someone to say, "Hey, if you don't announce that she's dead, I'm gonna pull up charges and investigations." And I don't know. So, anyways, Kathy was a paramedic. So I don't know what the difference between a paramedic and EMT, but yeah. So they hid her death. 3 days after that 911 call involving Mitch McConnell, his wife flew over to China in a rush to go meet with the vice president out there. Probably try to figure things out. Oh, we got to find another handler out there. We got to find another person for her to handle out there, right? And then also Laura Loomer says that she has insiders at the high level in the White House admin. High-level source close to the White House tells me Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead. He's not coming back. Those are quotes that she's saying. She also writes, Mitch McConnell is being kept alive by life support machines, but my White House source told me McConnell is in organ failure. And as I reported, source told me he has allegedly been declared a vegetable by doctors, and the White House has been told McConnell isn't ever coming back. Officially brain dead, organ failure is accelerating, life support machine is keeping him alive, but his brain is officially dead, and his wife, Elaine Chao, has fled the country to China. And then she concludes with, I wonder if she brought any of his documents or briefings with her to China. Yeah. Great time to get all the dirt out, huh? Oh, look at that. We got a wheel, guys. Oh, we got a wheel. There we go. There we go. By the way, you want to report them. Okay? I'm going to leave it for a little bit. You want to... okay, it's gone. Sorry. Anyways, we spin the wheel. Anytime you see those, by the way, you got to report them. That way, even banning them from here isn't enough. When you report them, they think their account is still in good standing. YouTube shadow bans them, right? So when they go and leave comments on the internet making threats and whatnot, their comments are invisible. I remember China pays them 30 cents per post. Okay, so if you report them, right, everything, racism, death threats, hate speech, anything you can think of, report them, because you know what, they're doing it to us. Okay, report them, and then what happens is they're out there typing it up every day, doing work, typing it up, earning the Neville Singham bucks, right? And then their comments are never going through. They think they are. When they look at it, they're like, oh, I see it. I make a difference for the Panda Man. I a Chinese seller. I live in Canada, And then China's paying the money. And they're still out there doing work. Yeah, I'm making a difference. China's paying the money. Oh, I run out of money. I don't have the money for the Barrett harvesting. Oh, I'm going to lose the election. Gavin Newsom gonna lose the election. Oh, we panda people. We make a mistake. Oh, yeah. Anyways, thank you for subscribing, whoever that was. Anyways, that's enough of that. So yes, report. You got a week. Whatever. We'll see you next week. Loser, incompetent loser who can't find a real job. Uh-oh. Is that why you're on the internet harassing people for a living? Dumb. What a dumb person. 8647. You ain't gonna do shit about it. You're all a bunch of fags. Okay? You're all a bunch of bitches. You'll never do anything about it but scream about it in the internet. Okay? You all got diabetes. You all have a rascal. Some of you don't even fit in it, just like the quartering. Okay? You will never ever stop us. We're gonna wreck all of you. Okay? America will not stop until the rest of the world is the third world. All of it, including our allies. Okay? Don't care. Once the rest of the world is the third world, Japan can be third world. Everyone can be third world. We don't care who you are. Okay? You stole from us. We're gonna wreck you. Suffrager says close call says suffrager. Oh man. Anyways, so that's Laura Loomer's, some details out of Laura Loomer there. Good stuff. Next story. Graham Platner is in trouble. He actually yesterday in the afternoon suspended his campaign. Yeah.
Fox survey out indicates the Senate race in Maine is shaping up to be a very close contest. Our new poll finds Republican incumbent Senator Susan Collins has a small 3 percentage point lead advantage over Democrat challenger Graham Platner among Maine registered voters. But among voters who say they are extremely motivated to vote, Platner leads by 9 points. Fox survey.
Yeah. So Graham Platner, the reason why he left was because we'll get to that in a bit. Ro Khanna, after I think this is before. So he suspended his campaign, and that was because a bunch of Democrats they rescinded their endorsement for him. Ro Khanna rescinded. Ruben Gallego rescinded. You got to pronounce those Mexican names right. The Mexican names right, because they get really mad. Ruben Gallego. Galega? It's Galega, I think. Galiga. Ruben Galiga. Also, this is Elizabeth Warren and her opinion on Graham Platner before.
Kind of man. That's my kind of man.
Graham Platner is her kind of man. Okay? Her kind of man. Well, this kind of man denied rape allegations yesterday. He did a little 2-minute video about it. We don't have time for this nonsense here. Let's just get to the meat and potatoes here. His rape victim went on CNN to expose Graham Platner. Yeah, this is she right here. She exposed everything that happened, and this is obviously pre-recorded, so they knew it was going to happen. People kind of got the idea that CNN was going to air this, so that's why you saw all the endorsements get rescinded. I mean, as you know, the Nazi tattoo in itself should have been enough, right? No. They waited for all this to come out first to be like, oh crap, we're gonna rescind our endorsement now. You could have ran somebody else. You could have pushed somebody else to run against Susan Collins, even though she's pretty much a Democrat anyways. But you had a chance. We're not getting much of an improvement. We're not getting much of an improvement keeping Susan Collins, though, since, you know, Elon Musk didn't bother trying to primary her.
Rape is a real thing. If you're so worried about it to buy Kevlar underwear, you'd think you might not get blacked out, fucked up around people you aren't comfortable with.
Right.
What did you think when you saw that?
I thought, here's a man who was drunk and who, by dictionary definition, raped me. And he...
You guys hear the audio, right? Yeah, this is broadcast on CNN. This is why you need headphones when you're in the studio. This is why cameras have 2 audio outputs. At least the professional ones do. One to feed into the studio, one for the cameraman's headphones. No. We're going to go ahead and set up Jake Tapper for, again, a bombshell interview here with crappy audio.
He's blaming drunk women. So I just felt...
Her lavalier is working. Okay, listen to Tapper's.
Like that was a very odd take to have on that. And I also feel like with all of the comments that he made about women, sexual assault, rape, even, you know, the comments that he had made that was in the New York Times article about, you know, threatening people with rape, like, why does this person have this issue like scattered throughout their life, throughout their commentary, like it's on their mind? Why do they have such a strong opinion about women coming forward with allegations? Like, I just feel like this isn't the first time.
I know that you have been very reluctant to tell this story.
Yeah.
Very reluctant. Why did you ultimately decide to do it? Why come forward?
A few reasons. One of the biggest ones is that
Because Graham Platner pissed off AIPAC, so they brought her forward to get rid of him. Yeah, nice tattoo, asshole.
I think that there are a lot of men in this world relying on the silence of women and to be where they are. And I don't want to contribute to that.
Look what time this was released, 3:22 p.m. You see that? Here, let me do this. Yeah, 3:22 p.m. Huh. It's an interesting coincidence there.
I also want to just get my life back.
There are going to be people, maybe even his campaign, certainly his supporters, who say this is politically motivated. What would you say to that?
I couldn't disagree more. That was actually one of the reasons that I didn't come out.
Yeah. So Platner's in a lot of trouble there. Yeah, a bunch of Democrats have already withdrawn their the Dem lawmakers calling for Platner to drop out. Look at this list. He hasn't dropped out yet? I thought he suspended his campaign. Huh. That's weird.
Democrats who stood by him through other allegations are now rapidly abandoning him. Many of them saying it's time for him to...
But why? Why? You guys love criminals. You should be supporting him more. Huh? Oh, he really pissed off AIPAC, huh? Usually they don't care about this stuff.
Him to end his campaign. Alexis McAdams is joining us live with all of the fallout from this as that fallout grows by the minute. Alexis, this is just a drip, drip, drip when it comes to Graham Platner.
Bill, that's right. We talked about it the other day. First the Nazi tattoo, then the allegations of physical abuse. That wasn't enough for Congressman Ro Khanna, and it still doesn't look like it's enough for Senator Bernie Sanders. We're waiting to see if he pulls his endorsement. Calls for Graham Platner, though, are growing for him to drop. Even the mayor of New York City just a short time ago, Bill, says this guy has to go after a woman who dated Platner, her name is Jenny Rakakot, accused him of raping her back in 2021. She told CNN he forced himself on her despite her telling him to stop.
Did Graham Platner rape you?
By definition, yes.
Democrats who stood by...
Next story. Mark Kelly is catching backlash because of a specific jersey he wore during the World Cup. He wore the jersey of Mexico.
The Mexicans.
Yeah, not a very liked demographic. However, because he's a Democrat in Arizona, he needs those votes. He needs the bean cakes to believe that he likes them, when really they're just pawns in his master game. Yeah, they are his slave labor. Yeah, that's what makes these oligarchs richer and richer, right? These fake astronauts, guys. Next story. This guy right here is Andrew Gillum. If you don't remember who he is, he ran against DeSantis and lost thanks to Donald Trump endorsing DeSantis. He, soon after the campaign was over, was found inebriated at a hotel with two dudes. Ooh, two dudes. Yeah. Remember that word, inebriated? That's what the article used. Anyways, he just got arrested again. He got arrested out in, was it Alabama? Yep, Alabama on drug charges. Not surprised. This is what they do. This is what Democrats love to do. Yeah? Drugs and butt sex. That's their forte. Remember Ed Buck? Remember Ed Buck and the black dude? Yeah. Next story. Sam Mead is the person running for Senate representing Wyoming. He's running as a Republican, but this guy's an absolute rhino. He's historically been a huge Bernie Sanders supporter. So Wyoming, I know things are very nice and red out there, but I hope you're paying attention every single day to what's going on. I understand the World Cup is exciting, but you gotta pay attention to things like this. Okay, that bread and circus will distract you from the things that actually matter, and you're about to be represented by another Liz Cheney here.
Sam Mead's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Mead gave money to Bernie Sanders for president, a socialist who promised trillions in new spending and higher taxes, but criticized MAGA Republicans for backing President Trump's policies, claiming they didn't stand up for fiscal conservatism. But socialist Bernie did? Sam Mead, bankrolling Bernie, attacking Trump. A tool for the left, not right for Wyoming. Club for Growth Action is responsible for...
That's funny. So they put a cowboy hat on him for most of this, right? And then they took it off at the very end. It's like, ladies, this is what you're voting for. Yeah, fun fact, women vote for the person they'd rather sleep with. Probably why all his campaign photos have a hat on or whatever. But yeah, there hasn't been a bald president since women started voting. And that's why we've had a lot of shitty presidents since. Next story. ABC is urging the FCC to declare The View as a legitimate news program. Yeah, this is interesting to me because it tells me, ABC is the owner of The View, by the way. This is interesting to me because it tells me that the FCC is paying attention to who's just blatantly lying all day and who's actually doing news. And it tells me that the FCC is going to start regulating the news to say, hey, if you're not fair and balanced, you don't get to be involved in politics. To me, that's what this says to me. Because ABC says that they want FCC to declare The View a legitimate news program so they can freely interview political candidates. Now, they've already been doing that, okay? So I guess the belief was that, oh yeah, the TV, they can do whatever they want. They can interview anybody they want, right? But no. Clearly, this is a contentious thing to discuss here. Yeah. So I hope that the FCC is actually going to be doing something about that. And by the way, FCC, don't forget to go after YouTube, okay? Don't forget to go after YouTubers, streamers, things like that. They're far more influential than any of these people on TV. Okay, how do you have a guy like Hassan Piker, had nothing but a bunch of leftists on, lie all day, influence elections, and he's not regulated at all in any way in this? When are we gonna stop these communists from exploiting our free speech? Communists don't deserve free speech. They don't believe in it. Next story. Thousands of nurses in Boston are preparing to strike. Yeah.
This could be the largest strike of its kind in Massachusetts history. So on Wednesday morning, 4,000 registered nurses at Brigham and Women's Hospital and about 450 home care clinicians could start 2 separate strikes.
You know, cost of living wouldn't be an issue if Biden were never president. But I'm sure you just blame that on Trump anyways, right?
The nurses are asking for higher raises to offset cost of living, more affordable health insurance choices, and for the hospital to hire more permanent staff.
Hey, nurses, I got a question for you. Why should they give you a pay raise when the Filipino nurses will work for less than minimum wage? And they do, by the way. Yeah, those home care nurses, they work for like $5 an hour. No kidding.
Of temporary travel nurses. The Union for the Nurses blames Brigham and Women's Hospital for failing to come to an agreement in the nearly 24 bargaining table discussions.
Really? Because you should be blaming yourselves for voting for Biden to drive up inflation and cost of living. We just did a story yesterday that Biden's Federal Reserve quietly released a report that basically stated that illegal migrants are the cause of 30% of the rent increases over his administration. So if you're the amount of rent that has gone up, 30% of that is caused by illegal migration. And then obviously the rest of that's the inflation, the cost of building, because of more regulations, right? All the regulations they put on houses. Oh yeah, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, you gotta have solar panels in every new house in California. That's the thing. So guess what? It adds all the stuff that they require in California homes adds about $120,000 per home. And no wonder why $50,000 houses don't exist anymore.
Brigham and Women's Hospital says the nurses are already among the highest compensated in the market, and they currently receive annual 5% wage increases, and that the hospital's proposal ensures every nurse receives increases while also preserving.
Well, okay, if you got a 5% increase, that's higher than the inflation that Biden claimed he had, right? So what's the problem? I don't understand. Are you telling me Biden's lying that the inflation wasn't actually 5%? Huh? Because last I checked, it was all 5%. Granted, he took a lot of basic necessities out of factoring into inflation, where like coffee was removed. Oh, coffee's not a necessity. We're not going to include that in inflation anymore, even though everyone drinks coffee. Yeah, except the Mormons. Yeah. So you got your 5%, but you're still complaining. Oh, why? Why is that? Is it because, I don't know, you're spending too much on makeup and dresses because you're looking for free stuff from men? Is that what it is, ladies? Where's the accountability? When are you going to finally be accountable for your bad votes, your bad decision? You're blaming the hospital when you should have blamed Biden inflation. But you don't want to admit you were wrong about your vote.
Competitive health benefits, retirement support, paid time off, shift differential payments, and professional development opportunities. Now, the hospital says it does take seriously the union's decision to strike. They are fully prepared to continue providing high-quality patient care throughout a work stoppage. Politicians are urging the groups to return to the table, saying a strike and a lockout of this scale would cause serious disruption. And again, they have been to the table more than 24 times. So hopefully they'll return to the table, and this will be short.
That would be the hope.
This could be.
Yeah. Next story. Gavin Newsom's panicking. He's threatening to prosecute anyone who helps Trump secure free and fair elections. He's pushing new felony law to criminalize ballot scrutiny before certification. Yeah. So not only are you not allowed to ask people for ID when they want to go vote, which again is the law by you can get in trouble for asking. If you're a poll worker and you're asking people for ID, you can't get in trouble for that, for asking for ID. And now you can't, if you look at a ballot and it's just like, yeah, this one looks like this one looks like this one looks exactly like this stack of ballots here, and they all look like they're pre-printed. I don't see any pen ink or pencil or anything like that on there. No, illegal. He's pushing for that to be illegal. Boy, I hope Todd Blanchard really has something on this guy, because he needs to go down so bad. Next story. This lady right here blocked Trump's executive order that would require voter IDs to vote. She's not born here. She's born elsewhere. She's an activist judge. Abe Hamadeh has filed what is this? An impeachment, articles of impeachment for her to get rid of her. So good stuff. I don't know the likelihood of that happening. I believe you need 2/3 vote in the House and Senate for that. So that's a long shot. That's a long shot. What you guys need, what you guys audit, I don't know. Look, I'm just saying you guys probably need to get a lot more dirty. Okay? A lot of homeless people will do a lot of awful things for $50. Anyways, and by the way, politicians who are against gun rights should not be allowed armed security. Very simple policy, right? Oh, we're important. We need guns. We're important. No, you're not. We don't think you are. You might think you are. Next story. Harmony Dillon says that there are going to be surging poll monitors across locations in Detroit, Michigan for the upcoming 2026 elections. Look at that. Great secure elections are essential. Remember, Detroit was the area that basically helped. They're the one county that helped steal the election for Jocelyn and Benson, as well as Gretchen Whitmer. There were a number of Penske trucks caught driving back and forth between a count center and a company that prints ballots, back and forth for like a whole week or two. Yeah. Remember, I was screaming. I was telling them to slash the tires, and I'm like, they might get arrested for that. Well, if you're gonna do that, definitely don't show up with your cell phone, and don't forget to wear your COVID masks, right? Yeah, because you don't want to get sick, right? Those are critical these days. Anyways, so Lansing and East Lansing will also see election monitors for the coming primary. I mean, I don't know. You guys did the same thing in LA. You guys found nothing. It's not in the count process. It's in the registration process, okay? These ballots are not serialized and tied one-to-one to a social security number, and that's the problem. It's not the people doing the, some places it probably is, like, for example, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss in Fulton County running Biden ballots over and over on it, the same stack over and over, right? You look at the overnight count in Fulton County, Georgia in 2020, it was like 99.99% Biden. Coincidentally, the time that they were running those ballots. Yeah, anywho, so they're going to be doing that. So that's good stuff. Next story. President Trump says Walmart will lower prices on a wide range of products, including cutting the price of a pound of ground beef by nearly 15% after his administration requested retailers help celebrate America's 250th birthday. Trump praised Walmart as a patriotic company and urged other retailers to follow suit. You know what I'm guessing? The 15% is literally their gross margin. no, is that gross margin, whatever. So it's how much the money that they make selling ground beef. And so they lowered it. They basically sold it at no profit, which again is a loss to Walmart because there's spoilage, right? There's spoilage and then people steal it, things like that. So they actually took a loss for us. But again, Mr. President, the problem is not at the retailers when it comes to beef. It is the meat packing industry. I think we've gone over that many times already. There's four major companies that control 100% of the meat packing industry in this country, and they refuse to build additional meat packing facilities for this exact reason, because they get to jack up the prices. They're doing exactly what Micron is doing. They're doing exactly what Samsung and SK Hynix are doing with the memory. Okay, they're price fixing. They're creating. They're manufacturing a fake shortage. Okay, yeah. In California, by the way, you know what state filed a lawsuit against them? California. California of all states filed a lawsuit against SK Hynix, Samsung, and what was that last one? Micron, for price fixing the memory. And that's why computers are so expensive these days. Yes. Anyways, meatpacking industry. Please look into that because. Beef and rent are the only two things in my town that's going up in price since he's taken office. So those are clearly an issue, right? Next story. Japanese automaker Toyota is refusing to produce the Tacoma pickup truck in Mexico. They're going to be relocating to Texas. Look at that. Congratulations, automakers. You're getting new jobs in Texas. Not a bad state to live in, to be making cars in, right? Look at that. I remember when Toyota moved their manufacturing for their trucks from Detroit to San Antonio as a stepping stone to get out to Mexico. And now it's coming back the other way. So good stuff. 2,000 jobs coming Texas's way. I hope this is in San Antonio and not in Austin, because Austin is a dumpster fire trash of a city. Let's see. Thanks to Joe Rogan, bringing over all his liberal friends. Anyways, good stuff there. $3.6 billion investment by Toyota there into Texas. Oh, and by the way, this is the result of tariffs. Yeah. He threatened tariffs against cars that were not finished, at least finished in America. Because we know a lot of the raw parts that they're not made here. We need to dial back the EPA big time to get that to happen again, because smelting metal, a lot of pollution, a lot of smog. But again, moving the pollution abroad does not help the earth. Okay, it just relocates the smog, and then China's way worse than how we are, even without our EPA. If we had no EPA, we are still better for the environment than China. They literally dump nuclear waste into the rivers. Next story. Iran is attacking oil vessels again at the Strait of Hormuz. Not one, but three. Yeah, one yesterday and two more this morning. So they're causing a ruckus. And by the way, that's the reason why markets are crashing right now.
Again, another reported tanker strike in the Strait of Hormuz. We think two have been struck. It might be more, but we'll hang on to two for the moment. A tanker struck by an unknown projectile trying to transit the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, another one made a U-turn and turned around. No casualties reported. Vessels are being advised to transit with caution. Meanwhile, from Fox Business, they've obtained audio of an Iranian threatening the ships in the strait, and here is how that sounded in English.
This is the last warning. This is last warning. This is last warning. You are running danger. Don't put your life in danger. You are ordered to alter course. Support us immediately. Alter course. Support us immediately and use the south of Florida Island to exit. If you disobey, you will be targeted. This is the Navy out.
Okay, Rebecca Heinrichs now, senior fellow. Again.
Well, that accent's a whole lot less threatening these days, huh? Now you hear it and you think of the Ayatollah and the Cardboard Committee, and you're like, man, that's great. That's great. You know, the side that Sneako's fighting for, yeah? Next story. American social media influencer named Jackson Hinkle was seen on stage in Iran during the funeral procession in Iran. He's chanting, "Down with the USA."
Down with USA. Down with USA.
Yeah, so that is him right there. I have no idea. I never heard of this guy ever. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about him considering what happened to Hassan Piker. I'm telling you, we need to start. We need to do the American caste system, okay, where we have multiple levels of citizenship. Okay, see, Class A is for patriots, people who fight for the country, servicemen, and patriotic media people like myself. Class B is the regular law-abiding citizens who just work and pay taxes. They're not politically involved. Class C is like, okay, you know, you're a communist. You know, you're a communist, but you're allowed your free. I know communism is not legal in this country. How about this? Class C is like the socialists, okay? And then Class F is like, oh, you were a traitor. You betrayed American. You hate America. You hate the primary demographics being the whites, the Christians, the conservatives. You know, anything in that demographic, bam, you're Class F. If you end up in Class F, you have to do 10 years of a probationary citizenship. You get no government services. You get no right to vote. No minimum wage guarantees. And then with the no minimum wage guarantees for 10 years, we will have an army of people to pick fruits and vegetables. We won't need to give seasonal jobs to Mexicans anymore, where they just take our money and run with it overseas. Over to their home countries. Again, bleeding our country of wealth. Okay. Also, we need to start taxing remittances. Any money that leaves this country, start with 5%. Okay. Start with 5%. Raise that number up down the road. You know, get the employment balanced. Make it so that there's no incentive to want to work here. Okay. Next story. We've been talking about this lady here. This is the lady who was identified as a person who blew up a hotel in Monaco, okay? The target was a Ukrainian oligarch who is sanctioned by Zelensky, which means he's Zelensky's enemy, okay? Now, this person was found dead today. Yeah, gone. And more interestingly, 2 people are arrested in connection to her death. One of them was an intelligence officer in Ukraine. So, seemingly, she was hired by Zelensky to go after this guy. Or was she just going after Ukrainian oligarchs, period, and she had nothing to do with Zelensky? If it's a bomb, first of all, not a lot of people know how to make bombs, at least not properly, right? She did. So, unless someone made it for her and gave it to her, and then she just dropped it off. But yeah, apparently she's Ukrainian. She didn't look Ukrainian at all. But anyways, so she's dead already. And I think not just me, but Paul Saran also believes, yeah, it's just Zelensky tying up loose ends so she can't talk. And again, when you do dirty things for dirty people like this, this is what happens. You guys remember in Russia, there was an activist who was blown up. They were given like this. I want to call it a statue. I guess we call it a statue. It's the bust of like someone notable, someone historical notable in Russia or whatever. It was given to them, and then the person who gave it to them went and took a seat in the back of the room after giving them that, right? And then the thing blew up. And the only reason why she wasn't okay, so obviously she was arrested, but she wasn't suspected as a single person, like a lone actor, okay, a lone wolf. She wasn't suspected of that because she sat in that room. So whoever gave that to her to give to the guy didn't even tell her it was a bomb. I guess assumed that she would leave, just was willing to let her die. Yeah. So a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. The Ukrainians are insane. Robert Fitzel was shot 6 times in the chest by a Ukrainian propagandist. Okay. He has been seen many times in the past promoting support for Ukraine, money for Ukraine, things like that. And that same guy popped Robert Fitzel off in the chest 6 times and he survived it. Yeah. Not to mention the Ukrainian ties that Thomas Crooks and Ryan Routh has, right? So, again, very crazy people, huh? Very crazy. Are we sure we don't want to end a protected status for them, Mr. President? Because I'm almost certain they're going to be really upset with you if you don't give Zelensky more money. Yeah. Then we got more Ryan Rouths. Next story. What was this one? Oh, this is a different bombing right here. This happened today. This is in Damascus, Syria. That is a hotel bomb right there. Boom! That's the second one, by the way. As you can already hear, there are already sirens going on. There's already smoke back there. There's 2 hotel bombs. Yes, this is a hotel, by the way, that Macron was staying at. The second one, boom. It was already a fire before that one blew. Yes, a second bomb blew off. Macron is alive. But yeah, so that happened in Syria, guys. Macron, by the way, was the first Western leader to visit Syria since the regime change. And they tried to blow him up. Yeah. Anyways, President Trump is overseas right now. Makes me nervous. Yes, because the bombings, he's in Turkey. Not exactly the most friendly country with us, right? Bizarrely part of NATO. I don't know why. They're more chummy with Russia and Iran. You know, should probably kick him out. I don't know. But Trump is apparently he's chummy with them because they have been better allies with us against Iran than Italy, than France, than the UK, all these guys in Spain, right? And he even mentions that. And by the way, they do a bilateral meeting. We're going to watch that bilateral meeting at the end of the show. But yeah, this is him and he got welcomed there. Look at this. Full military honors welcoming him. They even had horses, like a mounted police escort his motorcade to the palace.
Stop briefly. It's hard to hear what he said, but our producers will let us know if they're able to make that out. To your point about Russia, tonight a special dinner invitation extended to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. So those will be some interesting conversations that are had over dinner. As Zelensky, of course, not a member of NATO, but included in these talks in this big moment for these European powers in the United States.
You know, I got to be honest.
Just stop briefly.
Yeah. So there's that, and this is a part of the bilateral meeting. Trump reveals he is seriously considering selling F-35 fighter jets to Turkey. I say go for it. Look, the 35 isn't even the most advanced jet we have. We have the 47 now. The 47, by the way, has been in service for 5 years, 6 years now, and is a whole lot better than the 35. I say sell it to them. We have kill switches. It'll be fine.
Sell F-35s to Turkey, and what about the legal restrictions?
Well, it's a decision we're going to make. We have a very good relationship. I would think that many people, I can tell you, many people, including the people sitting right here, thinks, why wouldn't we do that? We have a better relationship with Turkey, and Turkey's been in many ways much more loyal than other countries that we think would be loyal. So, yeah, it's something.
He just trashed NATO to their faces.
Certainly we
at a NATO summit
would consider. It's a great plane. It's the best, currently the best plane by far. And it's certainly something we will consider, yeah.
The best that we sell, yeah. The F-22 is still better, and that's like 10 years older. Next story? And we don't sell the 47s. Also, he was asked about this little thing he posted, remember, about the restraining order against Maloney. He has backtracked just a little bit. He's like, I didn't mean that to be very offensive, but it was the weekend. We were watching the World Cup. I was drunk. Yeah.
Social post with the restraining order. Oh, I don't know. I think she's a nice person, actually. We've had a good, we had a bad relationship. It became a little bad because she refused to help us. Again, I didn't put a heavy press on her, but she refused to get involved with the Hormuz Strait, or you could also say just Iran. She refused to get involved. So it soured my relationship with her a little bit. But I like her. I think she's a nice person, actually. But I think she made a mistake. They get a lot of their oil from, we don't get any of our, we have a lot of oil. The United States has more oil than anybody. And when you add Venezuela to it, it's like we have far more oil than anybody. We don't need the straits. We do this because we think it's an important thing to do. But she just wasn't there for us, and I wasn't happy about that. You can imagine, I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah. So there's that. Other good parts. President Trump rips Europe for allowing Greenland to be surrounded by Chinese and Russian ships, saying it's vital for the U.S. Look at that. He also, in quotes, says, we could remove all our soldiers from Europe. He actually says it, guys.
Well, that's what hurt my relationship with NATO, because Greenland doesn't help Denmark. Denmark doesn't spend money to really help Greenland. but it's an important part for the United States.
But Denmark could sell it for lots of money to China so that they can have a nice launch-off part for the military to attack all of the East Coast, right? Yeah, that's why it's important for Denmark, because they're in China's pockets.
And it's surrounded by China ships and Russian ships. And that's not going to happen. The ships it's not going to happen. It was Greenland that and it continues to be, that should be controlled by the United States, not by Denmark. And when they wouldn't go along with it, and with all the money we spend to help them with Russia, and we don't have to spend any money, we could remove all of our soldiers out of Europe. Because
oh yeah, she said it.
As you probably noticed, Europe's a very different place than it was 20 years ago.
Which is why we should not add 5,000 troops to Poland.
Different, much different. It's a much different, and they better be careful with immigration and energy. If they're not careful with,
yeah, we'll watch it. We're gonna watch the whole bilateral meeting at the end of the show. Citizen Vigilante has been officially unbanned from Germany. Yeah, very bizarre, right? They banned it, now they unbanned it. However, it's going to be 18 and over only, which is perfect because that's the demographic we need to be inspired by this movie. Okay? You're losing your country. To those two German guys that came to America who believed in the German propaganda that America's awful and everything's terrible and there'll be soldiers pointing guns at you all day, ICE agents harassing you all day, okay? And you came here and you figured and you learned, oh, the Americans they're just like we are. They're all friendly and nice. Yeah, regular civilians are all nice, okay? And when you see how nice we are, you guys should probably take note. We used to be way nicer. I used to be way nicer. I used to give to other homeless people when I was homeless myself. I used to help everyone. I used to care about everyone. Now I can't. I can't because there is a group of Mexicans who are out to screw over Trump-supporting Republicans and conservatives because they want to take over the country. Okay? So I can't have friends who are darker than me anymore. And that is their fault. I don't have a choice in that to say anything about that. I can't. Most of us can't anymore. Most of you have been through what I've been through. Getting screwed over by people darker than you. Am I right? Like half of you, I believe. Holy shit. We're angry because our country's being ruined by people who hate our skin color. Anybody who has more than what they have, they're mad about. Okay? You seen some of these people in the BIPOC community, they're called boats racist because blacks and brown people don't have boats. Yeah. How can no black people got no boats? Yeah. They're mad because, oh, we worked hard and saved our money and bought a boat. Anyways. So Citizen Vigilante unbanned from Germany. Everyone gets to watch it now. I'm gonna assume that anyone who buys a ticket for this is going to be very, very heavily monitored by their government because they are an absolute communistic country at this point. How many AFD members have been killed so far? Like 16? Yeah, 16 high-level AFD party members killed. Won't be long till they get Alice Vidal. Next story. Marine Le Pen, the Republican out of France, has been declared guilty for whatever charges they got her for, okay? However, so she's going to be doing time. Thankfully, that time is just going to be, it was supposed to be 3 years, but they're suspending 2 years of it. And the 1 year that she's got is just going to be an ankle monitor. So it means that she can run for office again. But again, France is a very much of a lost cause. Okay, every year this election happens, and then in the first round she gets the most votes, and people get all excited. Oh, she's gonna win. Unfortunately, number 2 and 3 are also left-leaning, and you combine those two parties, it's 65%. There is no hope for an election. This facade of this facade of a democracy that you have in France is not real. It's to make it think that you have a voice, and you don't. Okay. You're completely screwed over by now. They're just going to let in more migrants. They're going to kill the shit out of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? Which, again, Mr. President, We need to expand this asylum claims from South Africa. We need to expand that into Europe for white conservatives. Conservatives, okay? Not white liberals. That's the last thing we want here. Anyway, so she gets to run, but good luck with that one. Next story. Nigel Farage, the leader of the MAGA party in the UK, has resigned today, but not for the reason you think he is. He's resigning because he wants to trigger a by-election. So this isn't going to trigger an election to get rid of the person who's replacing Keir Starmer, the prime minister. It's going to create an election that's going to reshuffle parliament. Okay. But again, if you don't have the prime minister to be the final say for things, I don't know if that's how your government works or not, but hopefully maybe if we could just take parliament, that'd be great out in the EU, because holy shit. He did a speech about that. We don't need to play. I already told you what he's going to say. Anyways, Nigel Farage, I hope he's going to be running for PM. Next story. Zimbabwe has finally restored power after a national grid collapse. Yeah, Zimbabwe, the originators of the Kill the Boer movement. Yeah, Zimbabwe was killing white farmers long before South Africa did. Okay, killed them, took their land, and then when it turns out, oh shit, we didn't want to actually do the work. We just wanted the free food, right? They started like begging farmers to come back. You know, the ones who've left the country fleeing for their lives. They begged them to come back and like, you won't own it, but at least you'll be able to work and grow food and you'll have a living here. And unfortunately, these unself-respecting white farmers in Zimbabwe took the deal. And now Zimbabwe is still alive because of it. All you had to do is just flee and leave. Go live off the land. And watch society collapse in Zimbabwe. Watch them get invaded by their neighbors, and everything will be fine for you. No. Oh, we want to work again. Why would you do that? Why would you work for people who want to enslave you? You're pretty much slaves. They took your land, and now you're still working for them, and it's not your land anymore. Yeah. Anyways, so they got their power back, which is hilarious because that means that the power was out. Yeah, because black people running power plants never goes over very well, right? Kind of like in South Africa. Yeah, you hear they're trying to make a bid for a future World Cup. Like, you have no electricity. What are you doing? You know, you've got rolling blackouts. 67% of your country doesn't have electricity at any given moment, and you're like, oh, we want the World Cup again with their stupid vuvuzelas. Wah wah wah wah wah wah wah wah. Remember those things? Culture, guys. Anyways. So Zimbabwe, another lost cause. I'm telling you, we need that Ebola to really rip it south. Okay. So far it's been spreading north, and I haven't been too stoked about it, you know, because North Saharan people are kind of cool, but boy, the South Sahara needs a gadooshing, and Ebola might be the guy to do it, or girl actually. Ebola does sound like a girl's name. Yeah. Next story. Mexico is investigating whether the United States violated the sovereignty of a drug lord that we captured. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, see, their top priority is not the 40 people who get kidnapped every day by the cartel to be either rented out for adult time or parted out in China, because everyone's walking around with $250,000 worth of organs. Now, if you get kidnapped, if you're adorable enough, they'll rent you out to disgusting adults. If not, if you're ugly, you know, you're gonna get parted out in China, and that's probably what they do. Yeah, I mean, we haven't found the other half of the missing kids in America. Yeah, I wonder where they are. So, anyways, Mexico, no priorities. They care more about their cartel leaders than the 40 people who get kidnapped every day in their country. So, again, now you know why I was cheering for them to lose. Yeah, and they did. They lost to the Brits. Thank you, England. Thank you. Next story. Terrifying CC... Hold on. Where is this again? Oh, is it India? Hang on one second. This is in India. This is a mudslide headed towards the city. Oh, run. Oh, look at that. Everything's... Is it a mudslide or is it just street shitting going on? Did too many people poo-poo at the same time? Is that what happened? Oh my God, that is bad. Holy crap. Wow. Now that's a mudslide. Oof. Sewage spill. Next story. Oh. It's chaos in Manhattan today. There is a building that partially collapsed, and they're having to block streets all over town, all around this block, to keep people safe. So I don't know. I guess you don't see much of a collapse from the outside. That's why this guy's just filming people walking by or whatever. But here's what it looks like on the inside. People were doing construction in this building, and look, it's partial collapse. Big parts collapsing. Look at that. That's a big steel beam buckling there. Steel beam buckling. Yeah. Have you guys ever heard of the red steel conspiracy? It basically dates all the way back to Japan. When we first started using our EPA to say, hey, you can't make steel here, it's too stinky, okay? We started shutting down steel plants all over this country. California Speedway, by the way, used to be a steel mill. It was eventually shut down by the EPA. A Japanese company came over, purchased it, dismantled it, shipped it over to Japan, rebuilt it, and started producing steel to sell to us. Okay, now this steel that they produced, back then it was Japan, today is China. This steel that we're getting from abroad, is it quality steel? Does it actually qualify? Does it actually pass the test? It doesn't. We saw this in Thailand. Remember when Thailand had the earthquake and that building collapsed? Guess who was building the building? A Chinese construction company. Venezuela. By the way, the death count in Venezuela is upwards of 3,600 now. Guess who built a lot of their buildings? Chinese contractors. Yeah. Have you seen their rebar in China? Okay, so in China, here's what was going on with the rebar, okay? They produce the rebar, then you got to let it cool, okay? Now, they don't want to wait for it to cool because it takes too damn long, so they cool it quickly with water, okay? And the problem with that is it causes hairline fractures within the rebar, which is why when you saw the collapsed rubble in Thailand, there was a lot of rebar sticking out that had like sharp cuts in them. Almost like as if it was thermite. It wasn't thermite, they just snapped. Okay, it's shitty rebar basically, and they're making concrete slabs with that. Right, so that's what's going on out there. Again, a lot of our steel came from Japan, and the conspiracy states that they are basically forging quality numbers. Okay, and this is Japan we're talking about. You know, China's doing the same shit. Okay, so in other words, it was the steel we're buying from Japan. Some of it was bad. In China, it's probably all bad, probably intentionally bad. And now look at our buildings. That's a very tall building that has partially collapsed. Wow. Look at that. Now we have to set up cranes in adjacent buildings, start picking that building apart and taking it apart now. How long is that going to take? How much money is that going to cost? All because you wanted to save money and buy shitty steel abroad. Wow. Yeah. So here's a eyewitness construction worker who was there. He tells us a little bit about it. Come on. Come on. Why are we not zooming in? Great. Thank you for not. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Hold on. It's doing this again, huh? Are we really doing this again? Windows 11? I'll tell you, Windows 11 is the worst thing that ever happened to computing. Windows 11 was the best thing to happen to Linux, by the way. Linux is thriving now. There's new Linux OSs that are very similar to good Lord, you got to be kidding me. Shit. Stupid fuck, man. Anyways. All I did was try to zoom in. All I did was try to do. Great. You got to be fucking kidding me. Did it do it again? I guess we're not zooming. Why do you keep doing vertical videos like this? Good Lord.
Correctly, the beams started crumbling. So what happened was they did not shore up the job correctly. The beams started crumbling, the floor started crumbling, and we had to evacuate, and they might potentially evacuate the other side. So, you know, just putting members in jeopardy and putting workers in jeopardy, you got to do the right job, and you got to do that every time. So.
Cliff, can you walk us through the project here for people at home not familiar with this building? What was going on?
This was a total renovation. So they came in, they gutted the building. I believe it was 20-something stories, and then they wanted to add another 16 to it.
He's gonna get fired, by the way. He's literally telling people that the construction company fucked up and didn't do the renovation properly. I would argue that steel is not supposed to bend like that. That is a steel beam. That is a support column.
So you have to rebuild the foundation of it and then go up from there. And they obviously did it incorrectly. So what happened was...
What does his helmet say? I wish I could zoom. That'd been great if I could zoom. Windows 11. Here's more photos there. Oh yeah, you can see windows here. I don't know if those windows are just open or what, but I don't see anything here. I don't see anything unusual. But yeah, bent beam. Imagine living above that. Imagine living below that. Holy crap. Next story. Here's another blue city with a building that collapsed. This is a BJ's warehouse. Hold on, let me double check that. BJ's store. Here's another store in a blue city collapsing. This is at a BJ's store, and the whole roof collapsed. Look at that. Oh, run. Oh my God. I think that's from rain. Oh. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, these. I wonder what you remember the Champlain Tower collapse? What county was that? Was that a blue or a red county? Was that Miami-Dade? I don't remember. Anyways, powerful storms took this trampoline into that house right there. Look at that. Ooh. Don't forget to tie down your trampolines during rough weathers. It sucks that this is so... I can't even zoom in, can I? Shall we try that again? No, let's not try that again. Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. I have to reboot my system. Next story. Here's a person... Come on. Here's a person lighting fireworks in the middle of the street, and there's a Waymo vehicle. Waymo don't give a fuck. He's gonna keep driving. He's gonna go right into it, and people are in the...
Someone lit the firework in the middle of an intersection as the Waymo approached. The Waymo drove right through it as a passenger
Yeah, film yourself. That's what we want to see. Thank you. Thank you for the booger. Oh, the septum piercing. Good Lord. Red flags.
And luckily, no one was harmed. Waymo responded in a statement that they are evaluating ways to strengthen Waymo's resilience in major traffic disruptions.
Anyhow. Okay, cool, guys. We have more to watch. We've got Trump did a bilateral meeting in Turkey. That's where we heard a lot of the Greenland talk and the updates about Iran and whatnot. Before we start that, guys, remember I got other channels to follow as well. We got Frank's Funny Shorts. We got Frank Show Clips. If you don't, thank you to those who've been hyping videos on this channel here. But if you could, please hype them on that channel right there, Frank Show Clips. You only get 3 hypes per week, and if you hype a video on this channel, it only gets 100 points. If you hype it on that channel, it gets like 2,000 points. So please help me out there. Cash App, buy me a coffee, subscribe to our Patreon, or ways you can support the channel. Or you could be like Sherry. If you have a membership like Sherry, thank you very much. It's $3 a month, helps keep the channel alive. You can also become a member on Rumble. It's $5 a month, and you'll get access to our Rumble Premium Hangouts where we talk about food and pets. Thank you, Campbell, Jean, and Jillian, and Josie for having memberships on that side. Anywho, let me check through Foxhole real quick. Thank you very much. Curious Cat, we celebrated your birthday earlier. You can rewind. We did celebrate your birthday. Thank you very much for the donation, dear. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations on making it around the sun again. Huh? Anyways, let's get going. We got the bilateral meeting. We got Trump's Rose Garden speech from yesterday. And then we'll cut off and go to Rumble and watch an episode of Joshua talking about the Federal Reserve and their report about how illegal immigrants cause a 30% increase in housing costs. Okay. Here we go. Is it going? Is it going? Yes, it is. Hold on. Is there audio? There it is. Are we starting? Let me scrub forward. Here we go. Okay, we don't have a translator. Oh, here we go.
The fact that we are convening here today for the NATO Ankara Summit and that all the leaders are arriving and have arrived, and we will be executing the NATO Summit tomorrow with the presence of President Trump, which will be adding might and strength to our summit.
Kendilerine tekrar hoş geldiniz.
Once again, I would like to say welcome, Mr. President.
Well, I want to thank you very much. As everybody knows, it's been very much reported. We are great friends. The President has done an incredible job. Just landing at the airport, to see such a beautiful airport, and to have a building named after me. I was very happy about that. That was very nice. The airport is absolutely beautiful. The roads coming in were brand new and beautiful, and you've been a great leader and a respected leader all over the world, and we really do. We've had right from the beginning good chemistry. We've had a very special relationship. Turkey has become, under the president, a very powerful country militarily. People don't know how powerful, actually. And they have a lot of our equipment.
Real quick, let me do one live read. It will not be long. Give me a second. Here we go. All right. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, and limiting access, you are in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now fast forward to today, everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click on the link in the description on Rumble and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from just hearing about crypto to actually owning some. All right, here we go.
And they have a lot of great soldiers, and they really somebody to be reckoned with. And the nice part is that because of the relationship that we have, it's all gone very well. I just want to say that I have a lot of respect for the president, and I think it's really to the benefit of both countries. We're going to be talking today about trade. We're going to be talking about other things having to do with the military, lots of different things. Probably we'll mention Iran, where we have essentially decimated their military. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And we're going to have some very good discussions. But we do a lot of trade with Turkey. We make great things and they make great things, and we've had it's had a very big impact on both of our countries. So I just want to tell you that it's an honor to be with you, and we're going to have a lot of good meetings. We're going to have good dinners, good food. We're going to have a good time, but mostly we're going to have a lot of work, and we're going to do good things for our countries. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, tamamına kadar geldiniz. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Çok uzun süreli dostluğumuz var biliyorsunuz. Son derece saygı duyduğum, yakın olduğum bir insansınız. Buradaki buluşmalarımızda, görüşmelerimizde 3 konudan bahsedeceğiz. Askeri, ticari ve bir de İran konusundan bahsedeceğiz. Gerçekten çok güçlüsünüz. Çok güçlü askeri ve silah sanayi açısından çok güçlü bir yersiniz şu anda. Dolayısıyla teşekkür ediyorum ve çok iyi vakit geçirdiğinize inanıyorum.
Thank you.
Mr. President, are you going to sell F-35s to Turkey, and what about the legal restrictions?
It's a decision we're going to make. We have a very good relationship. I would think that many people, I can tell you, many people, including the people sitting right here, thinks, why wouldn't we do that? We have a better relationship with Turkey, and Turkey's been in many ways much more loyal than other countries that we think would be loyal. So something certainly we would consider. It's a great plane. It's the best, currently the best plane by far. And it's certainly something we will consider again.
Mr. President, sir.
Yes, Daniel?
Mr. President, sir, you said, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that President Erdogan was a big reason you wanted to come to the summit here. What has made your relationship with him so special, in your own words, and what do you broadly hope to achieve here at the summit?
You never know why a relationship is special. Some people you get along with, and some people you don't. Sometimes you get along with the toughest people, like him, and sometimes you don't get along with the weakest, most pathetic people. You just don't get along, maybe you don't respect them, but from the day we met, we got along. We had a pastor, I remember his name was Pastor Brunson, and it was a very big thing, and it was very traumatic. He was sentenced to a long-term prison sentence, and I felt he was innocent, and I called, other people called, they got nowhere. I called the president, and he released him immediately. It was something that the evangelical community will never forget. And he was a good man, Pastor Brunson. So, just things like that, we just have always, it's always worked out. And I think it's been from the very beginning, from the first moment. This just, I said it before, it's a chemistry that works between us. There were those that I don't have a good chemistry with, I will tell you that. And we worked that out too.
Mr. President, are further troop drawdowns in Europe likely? Are you likely to announce further troop drawdowns in Europe?
Say it?
Are further troop drawdowns in Europe likely? And are you satisfied with the progress that NATO allies have made?
Well, we'll see. I was very disappointed with NATO. And frankly, if it weren't held in Turkey, where my friend happens to be a very strong leader, a very strong person, it's possible that I would have attended. I felt I had to attend because of the fact that, I know he's gone all out. It was a big thing to have NATO come to Turkey or any place else. It's a big thing. But we weren't treated well because we did something in Iran. We don't need anybody's help. I didn't even want the help. But before I asked, they said they wouldn't be there. And we've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others, Canada, etc., but to protect people, countries from, generally speaking, it used to be the Soviet Union, now it's Russia. And I say that's fine, but you would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us. And they really weren't. In the case of the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister, I guess he's no longer there, maybe because of this. It was a very unpopular thing he did. He said, "No, we'll help after the war is over." I said, I don't need that kind of help. We didn't need any help at all. And in a way, I was testing people. I was testing to see whether or not they'd be there, because I've long said that we helped them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
Türkiye ile Suriye arasında Türkiye'de...
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, bir saniye. Haber Karaca, efendim, İran'daki savaşın sona erdirilmesi için oldukça çaba sarf ettiniz. Müzakere süreci devam ediyor ancak nihai bir anlaşma noktasına gelinmiş değil. Bundan sonraki süreçte Türkiye nasıl adım atacak İran ve ABD arasındaki müzakere sürecinin olumlu bir şekilde neticelenmesi için?
Bu süreçte yine aynı şekilde bizler İran-Amerika ilişkilerini nasıl bir düzleme kavuştururuz? Onun gayreti içerisindeyiz. Elimizden geleni yapmak suretiyle dünya barışına bir adım atalım diye gerek şahsım, gerek arkadaşlarım hep birlikte çalışıyoruz, çalışacağız.
Türkiye-ABD ilişkilerinin geliştiği bir...
Gazze'yi sormak isterim ben sizlere. 80 bin yakın insan hayatını kaybetti Gazze'de. Çok büyük bir yıkım var. Ateşkes sağlandı ama yer yer bu ihlaller devam ediyor. Ateşkes ihlallerinin önlenmesi için, insani yardımların Gazze'ye girebilmesi için, ayrıca Gazze'nin yeniden inşa edilebilmesi için önümüzdeki süreçte ortak atabileceğiniz adımları değerlendirecek misiniz muhatabınızla? Müsaade buyururlarsa kendisinin de bu konudaki fikirlerini almak isteriz. Teşekkür ederiz efendim.
Özellikle Gazze konusunda tabii değerli dostumla bunları da konuşarak özellikle bu bölgedeki barışı sağlama için bu liderler zirvesini çok önemsiyoruz. Ve bu liderler zirvesinden aynı şekilde bir kararın çıkmasını da hayra yorumluyoruz. Ve bunun olabileceğine de ben ihtimal veriyorum.
Efendim, Türkiye-ABD ilişkilerinin geliştiği bir dönemi gözlemliyoruz. 2025 yılında geçen yıl Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'ne yaptığınız ziyarette önemli ticari anlaşmalar da imzalandı. Suriye konusunda Türkiye'nin önemli bir aktör olduğunu söylemişti Sayın ABD Başkanı. Şimdi yeni dönemde gelmeden önce de Sayın Trump bir sürprizle geliyorum ifadesini kullandı. F-35'i, Kaan savaş uçaklarının motorlarını konuştuk. Acaba gündeme gelebilir mi şeklinde. Siz bu sürprizin ne olduğunu düşünüyorsunuz? Türkiye bugünkü görüşmelerden sonra istediğini alabilecek mi? Teşekkür ederim.
Tabii F-35 konusu biliyorsunuz bizim için yeni bir konu değil. Ve bunu bizler Amerika ile daha önce de görüştük. Ve biz 5 uçağı da sözünü aldık. Ve Sayın Trump'ın bu konuda bize ayrıca sözü var. Ve şimdi de bu liderler zirvesinde yapacağımız görüşmelerde F-35 ile ilgili kendilerinden bu daha önce aldığımız sözün ben geleceğe yönelik olumlu şekilde test ettiğimizi biliyorum ve bu konuda da Sayın Trump her zaman sözünün arkasındadır. Burada yine inşallah F-35 konusunda bu liderler zirvesinden hayırlı bir karar çıkacağına inanıyorum.
What does that mean?
Is it going to be handed over to a third party? Is that not part of the deal?
Third party? What is the third? With respect to what?
There's our concerns about the Russian missile defense system. Do you have those concerns about this system? Are they going to have to?
I have no concerns at all about anything. I mean, he's a leader of a country that he's made a much better country, a much more powerful country, and you see it. And it's beautiful. You get off the roads of your life. It's an amazing thing. Now, I have no concerns about anything having to do with Turkey. The relationship, I would say the relationship with Turkey right now is better probably than it's ever been. It was good in my first 4 years, but I think now it's probably even better than that, if that's possible.
Mr. President, so U.S. military and Turkish military constitute a really strong and large military base for NATO. Are we expecting further defense cooperation out of this bilateral meeting, out of this NATO summit here in Ankara?
Well, we're going to find out when I go there. We're going to find out. We're going to be having meetings. They're very friendly with many of the leaders. Some of them are new. We don't know them. But, I've been doing this for now sort of a long time. If you count the 4 years when we had a rigged election, it was very much into politics then too. But I spent the first 4 years. I spent 4 years in a little different state, and then we've had an amazing, probably the best year maybe ever had by an American president. When you look at the economy, we have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have $19 trillion, $19.2 trillion to be exact, being invested in the United States. That's 7 or 8 times more than it's ever had. It's a world record, not just a U.S. record. And I just read, in fact, coming over, I was just Kevin, I was in the car with those beautiful horses, those great riders, those great soldiers, and it came over the wires that Toyota is moving out of Mexico into the United States and building one of the biggest truck and car plants ever built. It's amazing. That's what tariffs do, properly used. And so we've never had a more exceptional economy or potential economy. There's never been anything like it. Under the last administration, they did much less than $1 trillion of investment coming in. And we're at 19.2 trillion in actually the first 12 months, because that's where it's, really, so they're a year and a half, so that number is now substantially higher. But 19.2 trillion, Scott, for a period of 12 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. So we have by far the greatest economy. We have more jobs right now in the United States than ever before. And we have a great relationship with some countries on trade, and Turkey happens to be one of them.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı, siz her fırsatta dünya 5'ten büyüktür, daha adil bir dünya mümkündür diyorsunuz. Bugün konuğumuz Sayın Trump, ABD Başkanı, onun da zaman zaman küresel sistemin mevcut durumuna ilişkin eleştirilerini biliyoruz. NATO'nun iki en büyük askeri gücü olarak bu noktada, bu eleştiriler doğrultusunda ortak bir adım, ortak bir girişimde bulunması önümüzdeki süreçte söz konusu olabilir mi?
NATO'da iki önemli ülke olarak gerek Amerika gerekse Türkiye, bizler bu liderler zirvesinden de dayanışma içerisinde güçlü bir çıkışı sağlayacağız ve bunu da başaracağımıza inanıyorum.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı, 24 muhabiri Yağmur Yıldız, Rusya-Ukrayna Savaşı konusunda savaşın başından bu yana arabuluculuk tesis ettiniz. İki ülkenin Dışişleri Bakanları Antalya Diplomasi Forumu'nda bir araya getirdiniz. İstanbul'da çok önemli müzakereler yürüttünüz. Bu zirve kapsamında da Sayın Trump'ın Sayın Zelenski ile görüştüğünü biliyoruz. Nihai aşama olarak hangi noktadayız? Savaşın sonlanması konusundaki müzakere ilişkin değerlendirmenizle de teşekkürler.
Is that for me? Are you asking me, or are you asking the president?
No, the president, I don't think you.
Biz Rusya-Ukrayna arasındaki bu gelişmeleri de yine değerli dostumla burada paylaşacağız, görüşeceğiz ve ona göre de adımlarımızı atacağız.
Efendim, A Haber televizyon kanalından Hatice Kübra Bal, benim sorumda aslında az önce biraz yanıtladınız ama Türkiye'nin 5. nesil uçağı Kaan motorları için F-110 motorlarından söz edeceğiz. Aynı zamanda kasa yaptırımları ve bu bağlamda da F-35 alımı ile ilgili aslında bu görüşmeden bir sonuç bekleyebilir miyiz, onu merak ediyorum.
Ben bunu daha önce değerli dostumla görüştüm ve Kaan'la ilgili onun motorları noktasında bu liderler zirvesinde bu görüşmeyi değerli dostumla tekrar bir araya geldik. Onu görüşeceğiz ve inanıyorum ki bununla ilgili bize verdiği müjdeyi burada da tekrar edecektir ve bu müjdeyle de herhalde liderler zirvesinde kendisine teşekkür edeceğiz.
Turkey bought planes. It's the best plane, but they bought planes from the United States. And when you buy a plane from the United States, if there's engine rehab and other things that are done to engines, there's various things that happen, including just maintenance. I think we have an obligation to maintain engines and help them maintain engines. When you buy a plane from us, what are we going to say? You're buying a plane if the engine needs work, or if the engine has to be rehabilitated or even upgraded somewhat, but I think we have an obligation to do it. What are you going to do? Say, I'm not going to do that? Look, Turkey's been, I know, a lot of people don't agree, although I think with time they're starting to agree. Turkey has been a great ally for us Turkey could have gone on the side. They know Iran very well, and they know the problems with Iran. But they've been very instrumental, along with a couple of other countries, of helping. They could have gotten into the fight. And I hear some people saying about their relationship with Israel. They could have gotten into the fight. They're a very powerful military nation. They didn't do that. Maybe they didn't do that because of me. But they could have gotten into the fight on the other side. They are a nation that's been very, very good. And I can speak for myself as president. They've been extraordinary in many ways with respect to our relationship, including trying to end the war with Iran, or whatever you call it. It's not even a war, it's a military operation. It's a denuclearization. That's really what it is, of Iran, because I don't think he wants to see them have a nuclear weapon either. I'm pretty sure of that. In fact, I'm totally sure of that. So, but when they buy a product from us, whether it's a plane or anything else, when it's time for maintenance, I think don't we have an obligation to help them? What are we going to do? Say we're not going to let you use the product that you spent a lot of money in buying? And especially when it's been somebody that frankly has been more helpful to the United States than many other more traditional countries.
Mr. President, you will meet President Zelensky tomorrow, sir. You will meet President Zelensky tomorrow. Should we expect a breakthrough soon? Where are we at Ukraine talks?
I had a very good talk with President Putin, who, by the way, has a lot of respect for President Erdogan, a lot of respect for him. We had a long talk yesterday. It lasted a long time, and I also spoke with President Zelensky right after that. I think they both want to make a deal. It's too bad it took so long, but I think there's going to be something's going to come out, and the president's also helping us with that. But I think there's something. I settled 8 wars, and I think we're going to be settling a 9th. It doesn't seem likely now, but sometimes with war, I see when it's least likely, that's when it happens. I had a very good talk with President Putin. I had a very good talk with, I would say, as a combination. A lot of times I'd do well with Putin, and Zelensky would be a problem, or vice versa. Zelensky would be great, and Putin would be. They both want to get it settled now. More than that's all I do in my life is deals. I know deals, and I think they are going to. I think we're going to get it settled, hopefully soon. Last month, 35,000, mostly soldiers, died. The month before that, it was 24,000. The month before that, it was 27,000. And the month before that, it was 29,000. But last month, it was 35,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, died. And that's crazy.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, savunma sanayi işbirliklerinden bahsediyoruz, ancak savunma sanayi işbirliğimizi sürdürebilmemiz için Amerika'nın katsayı yaptırımlarını da kaldırmış olması gerekiyor. Sayın Büyükelçi Barak burada, kendisinin bu konuda aslında mesajları da oldu geçtiğimiz aylarda. Sayın Başkanım da bu konuda olumlu düşündüğünü biliyoruz. Hem ticaret hacmi hedefine ulaşmak, hem de NATO zirvesinde burada Sayın Trump gelmeden önce de açıkladılar. Aslında Türkiye'nin hakkıyla zirveye katıldığını da açıkladılar, ama aynı zamanda katsayı yaptırımlarının Türkiye'ye uygulanıyor olmasında bir tezat olduğu düşünülüyor. Bu noktada, bu görüşmede artık somut bir netice alınabilir mi? Ayrıca siz bunu gündeme taşıyacaksınızdır. Muhtemelen Sayın Başkan'ın da bu konudaki düşüncelerini alabilirsem mutlu olurum. Teşekkür ediyorum.
I can tell you, we're going to be taking the sanctions off. Okay? I don't want him to waste his time answering that question, because we're working very closely with Marco Rubio, very famous man, great Secretary of State, and with Scott Bessent, and with Pete and everybody else. We're going to be taking the sanctions off. It's time to do that. Okay?
Mr. President, you said that
We don't want to sanction friends. It's very simple. There's plenty of people we can sanction, and we are sanctioned. We don't want to sanction friends. And because of the president, we have a very good relationship with the new leader of Syria, and he's done an amazing job. In a year and a half, he's pulled the whole country together. And I have a very great relationship with him. And somebody said, well, he's pretty rough to put him there. I approved him along with the president. We were the two that really wanted him, and he's done a great job. He's done a great job. He's pulled it together. Not an easy job.
Mr. President, can you clarify what you meant with your social media post yesterday with respect to Prime Minister Maloney? That True Social post with the restraining order?
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a nice person, actually. We've had a good, we had a bad relationship, but it became a little bad because she refused to help us. Again, I didn't put a heavy press on her, but she refused to get involved with the hormone straight, or you could also say just Iran. She refused to get involved. So it soured my relationship with her a little bit. But I like her. I think she's a nice person, actually, but I think she made a mistake. You know, they get a lot of their oil from, we don't get any oil. We have a lot of oil. The United States has more oil than anybody. And when you add Venezuela to it, it's like we have far more oil than anybody. We don't need the Straits. We do this because we think it's an important thing to do. But she just wasn't there for us. And I wasn't happy about that. You can imagine, I wasn't happy about that.
Mr. President, you seem to express optimism that a deal between Russia and Ukraine is close. Why do you think that? What conditions have changed? Did Putin seem...
About with what?
Russia-Ukraine. Did Putin seem open to any concessions that he had?
Never changed. I just don't want him killing people. You know, it doesn't affect the United States. When Biden was here, he gave them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of equipment. Now I sell the equipment for, fair price, full price. And I sell it not to Ukraine, I sell it to the European Union. They pay us. But with me, it's not anything to do other than I'd like to save lives. You have 25, 35, 30. One time it hit 41,000 a month. Souls. They're dead. They leave their mother in Ukraine. They leave their mother and father in Russia, Ukraine. They wave goodbye. And a week later, they're dead. It's crazy. And I would like to see, it doesn't affect us. It's really, it's far away. It affects Europe much more. We're there to help Europe. But it doesn't affect the United States. We have an ocean in between. But, it's just, I can't stand watching what's happening. I've seen the pictures of those battlefields, and it's a drone war. It's a war of drones. It's a whole new technology. And we're actually the leader in drones now. We have the most sophisticated drones, but people wouldn't believe how violent it is. And I've seen the battlefields. They send me pictures. I actually want to say, don't send them to me. Pete, this man right here, sends me pictures. Pete Exet. And I said, Pete, you know what? Doesn't help to look. I've never seen anything like it. It's carnage. And it should stop.
Did Putin seem open to any concessions? Did Putin seem open to any concessions to end the war? Did Putin seem open to any concessions to end the war in your call with him?
We get along very well with both, and we're going to get it settled. And President Erdogan is helping us get it settled, as he's helping with arrest. Well, that's what hurt my relationship with NATO. Denmark. Denmark doesn't spend money to really help Greenland, but it's an important part for the United States. And it's surrounded by China ships and Russian ships. And that's not going to happen. Ships, it's not going to happen. It was Greenland that, and it continues to be, that should be controlled by the United States, not by Denmark. And when they wouldn't go along with it, and with all the money we spent to help them with Russia, and we don't have to spend any money, we could remove all of our soldiers out of Europe. Because as you probably noticed, Europe's a very different place than it was 20 years ago. A lot different, much different. Much different, and they better be careful with immigration and energy. If they're not careful with those two things, you're not going to have a Europe anymore.
All right, so next one, here we go. This is his speech from yesterday at the Rose Garden. We'll go ahead and fast forward it to the copyright music. Here we go. Ba ba ba ba ba.
Lee Greenwood.
There we go.
Lee Greenwood. Wow, has he been great, huh? That's been with me a long time, that song. We won 3 elections with that song. And we have a country that's a much different place than it was just a short while ago. We have the hottest stock market in history. We did great the first time. We had the greatest economic numbers ever in history for the first term, and I think we're going to be blowing them away. What do you think, David? Do you agree? Goldman Sachs, David's here. We're going to be blowing them away. These numbers are all over the country. We have factories rising. $19.2 trillion investment. And please sit down. Please. I appreciate you standing up. And anytime you want to stand up and cheer, that's okay too. But we have a lot of very big people here. They don't get up and cheer too often. But they're very happy with what's happening, and we're doing very well. As you know, Venezuela was amazing, and we're getting along great with Venezuela. We paid for the war many times over, and Venezuela's doing better. The relationship is very, very good, and we're doing very well with Iran. We wiped out their Navy, their Air Force, their radar, their leaders. We wiped out everybody. And then I heard they're doing very well. No, they're not doing well at all. They want to make a deal so badly. But we'll see what happens. They have to make the right deal because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You want to see a bad stock market? Let them use a nuclear weapon. I'll show you a bad stock market, right? So, but we're doing very well. They've agreed to a lot of things that a lot of people said they wouldn't agree to. We'll see what happens. We're going to win one way or the other. We'll win the nice way or the not nice way. But I want to welcome everybody to the Rose Garden. What you're sitting on, the stone, is sort of a replica of the color of the White House. This was grass, and I love grass, but you know, the White House was built on a wetland, and the grass was always very wet. And if you were sitting here right now, your shoes would be destroyed. You would be extremely unhappy with me. You'd want to leave. The men wouldn't like it, but the women would, with their beautiful, I won't name the group, but you know who I'm talking about, those extremely high heels. They'd be sinking into, I used to call it the quicksand. It was a quicksand pit. So we've redone it. We built the Presidential Walk of Fame, which starts with George Washington and goes all the way up to Trump. And it's been so popular. We've redone the path. All the stone was broken. It was in terrible shape. And we put beautiful granite pavers in that will last. They say it has a 1,000,000-year life. They go 1,000,000-year plus. They rate stone, you know, 35,000 pounds per square inch. So think of it. Nature makes a stone far greater than we can. There's no stone that we can make. There's no concrete or mix that we can make that's 35,000 pounds per square inch. But it's gotten rave reviews. I don't know if anybody's up and seen it, but this is the walk to the Oval Office and walk to the West Wing. And so we've done a job, and we've taken about 150 years of paint off of the columns and redid them. They were in very bad shape. You know, when you have 150 coats of paint on something, it's not good. You're supposed to, what they call, strip it. I don't use a word like that too easily. I will tell you, in construction, if you don't strip the paint off, it gets worse and worse and worse, and it was looking bad. You couldn't even see the details of what was up here. We very carefully stripped it. Now we're doing it. You notice the scaffolding on the front of the White House we're doing. A lot of love is being put in the White House because, frankly, it was treated very badly by a lot of presidents. Had no idea. The last one definitely had no idea. Do you think he walked in the office and said, I don't like the shape of the columns? I don't think so, Biden. I don't like the shape of the columns. He didn't notice things like that. He didn't notice anything. But we're putting a lot of love back into the White House. This will happen every 200 years or so. You'll get somebody that will bring it back. But if you look at that wall right there, that beautiful wall of the building itself, that's been redone, and it's been done beautifully. And the best thing and the biggest thing that we're doing is we're building a ballroom and a tremendous military center. That was supposed to be top secret, but it's no longer top secret because no matter what you do, you get sued. They sue because they think the ballroom's too big, the ballroom's too small. I don't like the color of the ceiling. We don't like, you just get sued. In this world we're living, especially if your name is Trump, you get sued. And you get sort of good at it after a while. It becomes routine. It's ridiculous. But we're building something the likes of which will never be even close to being competed with. The ballroom is going up to there. You see, it's the hardest part is now completed, the base, and it's rising, very substantially rising. And when it's done, the most you can seat is about 93 people in the White House. It was always a problem. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom to be built. We don't have a ballroom in the White House. We have a room that's a little bit large, but it's not a ballroom. It's a very small room. We had King Charles here. Everybody wanted to be here. We couldn't hold anybody. But soon you'll be able to. I think it's going to be one of the most beautiful structures in Washington when it's completed. And I've done many ballrooms, and this will be, there won't be anything to compete with this anywhere in the country. And that's what it should have. And it'll use it exclusively only for the White House. But it's really what it should have. When you have heads of state, it's also able to hold the inauguration. We had the inauguration was so cold that when you have January 20th, it's so cold, the weather, that generally the first time we got by with it, it was good. It was, like 34 degrees. But the last time it was below zero. And you weren't able, so we used the Capitol. And it's a very small space. It's not safe. It's not, they didn't have drones in mind when they built it. They didn't have other things in mind either. But we were able to get 921 people in. And this will hold many times that numbers of people without the tables as seats. And bulletproof, drone-proof, missile-proof in many cases, and beautiful at the same time. And a big military component, including on the roof, a drone port. Can you believe we have a drone port? And it's like no other. So we're doing a great service. It's great national security. We also take care of a need. Every president said, this is crazy. I'm sure that many of you, along with me, attended. We would have a presidential ceremony of some kind, or heads of state would come in. For instance, President Xi is coming here toward the end of September, the 24th, I believe. And what we need is a big ballroom. We could hold thousands of people to see him. Everyone wants to see him. Same thing with King Charles. Same thing with a lot of the leaders of countries. And now we're going to have a place the likes of which no country has. I was in the Great Hall of China recently, 4 weeks ago when I was in China. They have a very large ballroom, beautiful ballroom. We don't have that, but we're going to have one that tops everything. It won't even be close. The beauty of it and the size will be great. So it's exciting, and that'll be done. Actually, I will get to use it for, people say he's building it for himself. I'll be using it I'll be lucky if I get 6 months, because it'll be done toward the middle of 28. So I'm really building it for other presidents, but it'll give them great safety. Glass windows that are this thick that can withstand any form of shot, rifle, drone, anyone, nothing gets through. Steel walls, steel ceiling, extra strength. I mean, it's really an amazing thing. And yet, all of that security made it more beautiful, because you have very thick walls, very powerful walls, very beautiful. We've actually taken security and made it a beautiful thing. It looks like it was built from 700 years ago. Like when I went to England, we went to Windsor Castle. It's the longest building I've ever seen. I said to Charles, it was built around like 900. It was a long time. But I said to Charles, who built this? This place is incredible. William the Conqueror. I said, oh, William the Conqueror. Was he a nice man? Charles said, no, he was extremely strong and very tough. I said, I figure with the name William the Conqueror, I would think, what do you think? I think he'd be tough, Michael. What do you think? I said, we have to come up with a good name for you, Charles. Maybe Charles the Conqueror. No, please. But William the Conqueror built a great building. But we are building one that's going to top them all, and it's going to be beautiful. It's gotten great architectural reviews. And more importantly, it got great military. We're doing it in conjunction with the military and the generals. And these are smart, brilliant generals that know exactly what they're doing, what they want. I'm giving them everything they want. and it's really a national security must. But I want to welcome you to the Rose Garden, and today's a historic day as we begin America's 250th year. We're launching what's called the Trump account. You've been hearing about it. And this was something that was made possible because of the great, big, beautiful bill. Otherwise, you couldn't do it. We got it approved. Ted Cruz is here, and he helped us a lot. And I want to thank you, Ted, and to ensure that every American child is born with a head start and a fair shot at the American dream, because by the time they're 18, they could have a lot of money. They go up with the market. Think what would have happened if we invested $1,000 in an account, even Brad and Mike, Susan, if we invested $1,000 in an account a year ago. It's like would have doubled. And because the market, we're riding the hottest stock market in history. 81 days, I've been here 1.5 years. Think of it, 81 days we hit record highs, including today. A lot of you Wall Street guys, I see Larry and I see some of the biggest guys in Wall Street, David, Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, BlackRock, they're all here. And think of it, I'm making them all geniuses. Every one of them is a genius. Is anybody doing poorly? If you are, I guess you have a couple of guys that went short. Those poor bastards, I mean, they're in big trouble. They're being wiped out, the short guys. I never like short guys because they're betting against the country, so that's okay. But earlier this morning, many of you joined me in the Oval Office for the ringing of the opening bell, and something happened that was incredible. Never happened before. We had the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, the top of both. These are great people, but they never did a bell and opening together. This is the first time. There's the bell right there, and I said it's so beautiful. I'm not giving it back. I don't know if it's supposed to go back, but they're going to have to fight like hell to get it back. We're not giving it back. Do you understand that, Scott? Don't let it leave. It's so beautiful. But that's the bell we rang, and that's where the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ came together, the leadership, brilliant people, and the first time ever, we did it together. It was an opening where we did it together. That's in honor of the Trump accounts, because we're going to make young children born with no money in many cases rich. I think they're going to be rich. But I want to thank Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent, Chairman of the SEC. These are really tremendous people. Paul Atkins. Scott, stand up. And Paul, please stand up. Thank you very much. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, who's so great. Everybody loves him. Stand up, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Governors Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who worked here very diligently and brilliantly as my press secretary. She did a great job. Thank you very much, Sarah, wherever you may be. Thank you. Governor Jeff Landry, who called me, he says, you know, we have a crime problem, and we had the Mardi Gras, and he said, could you we want to get rid of the crime, do something, because we have a little bit of a Mardi Gras coming, and we have a little bit of a crime problem. And I think you say it was the safest, Jeff? The safest that they've ever had. Is that right? Right? In New Orleans, he said it was the best they ever had, the safest. And the city crime is down 81%. I wish Chicago would call me. If Chicago would call me, I would wipe out crime so fast, would remove the hardcore criminals like I did in Washington, D.C., in Memphis, and in New Orleans. We were not just a question of, we're going to have big, strong soldiers. That's the least of, well, it's very important. But we removed in your place, 2,900 career criminals. Many of them came through the Biden administration's stupid open border policy. They poured in. And I just want to give a little extra thing. Thanks a lot, Jeff. You're doing a fantastic job. And I'm glad you called, but he called me up 2 days ago, and he said, we just had the lowest crime numbers we've had in 50 years, 5-0. And we haven't even finished the job, but they're down like 85%. You'll be down to 95%. But we removed the criminals. We took them out. We're not letting them stay because they're criminals, and they'll... a great stat that I love, 91% of the crime in cities is caused by 2% of the people. I love that because you can handle that. You can get rid of the 2%. If it was caused by 91%, you got a problem. But 91% of the crime in Washington, D.C., as an example, was caused by 2.1% of the population. These are many career criminals, sick people, mental problems, but 2.1% in the case of Washington. And we removed from Washington, D.C., 4,212 people, permanently removed. Many of them were brought back to their countries. Some were put in jail. Many were wanted. We had murderers. So we've taken Washington, D.C. crime, we brought it down 91%. And it's considered now one of the safest cities. We're going to do better than the 91 because 9% is even too much. But we're going to bring it back to almost nothing. The only thing we have a hard time stopping is a crime of passion. Do you know what that is, anybody? Was anybody in? This is a group that probably knows something about crimes of passion. But the crimes of passion we can't do much about. It's just one of those things. But we have Washington is way down. We worked well with the mayor's office. The National Guard and our military was unbelievable. And in Washington, restaurants were closing. Nobody wanted to eat at restaurants. It was a disaster. When I first came, it was they were losing 3 people a week to murder. Can you imagine? 150 people. And I said, wow. And we really put it into gear. And now we don't have murders. I mean, you have, I guess, but not much. And people are safe. And restaurants are thriving. You can't get, if you're an entrepreneur, a restaurateur, you can't get a restaurant. There's nothing available. The restaurants are packed. They used to go in and rob the restaurants. You'd feel safe in a restaurant. It was like the old Wild West. They'd say, stick them up, give me your money. The whole restaurant is handing them money. And now if that ever happened, those people would be in deep trouble, deep. We hit them very hard. And we have tremendous military people involved, and they do the trick. And that's what happened with Jeff, with Louisiana. That's what's happened with Memphis, Tennessee, where the governor also called me. He said, FedEx was going to move, and now they called me the other day. They said, you've made it a safe city. People have never seen anything like it. Washington, D.C., every day somebody says thank you. I know immediately what they're saying. Young women that walk to work at White House, they used to take Uber, and they felt unsafe because the Uber car was robbed. And dangerous. They'd shoot people. That doesn't happen anymore. The girls are working to work, and the young guys are walking to work, and the older guys, if they can walk, they walk. Half of them can't walk because they made too much money. A lot of these guys here, they can't walk, but they're rich as hell. But it's such a tribute, and I just wish that I'd get a call from the governor of Illinois, as an example, or the mayor of Chicago. Sir, they've had a horrible 3 weeks, by the way. Many people shot, many people killed, and they just don't want to call. They have to call. All they have to do is say, sir, we need help. I'll straighten it out so fast. San Francisco, I wish they'd call. You have a mayor there who's a Democrat, but he's a good person. He's trying hard, but I told a couple of the very rich people living in San Francisco, they wanted me to give him a chance. And I said, all right, I'll give him a chance, but he can't do the job because he can't remove people like us. We have the law on our side. We can remove murderers. Under the Biden open border policy, 11,888 murders were allowed into our country. They're living in a place near you, but I've gotten rid of most of them. Have been either removed or we put them in jail. We've caught most of them. But they came in through an open border. They came in through prisons, mental institutions, drug dealers. You have no idea the drug dealers that came in under Biden. Open border. Nobody checked. They just walk in. And you could look at some of them. You could say, this is trouble. And they'd walk into our country. We remove them. And I wish Los Angeles, I wish Gavin Newsom would call me. I wish Governor Pritzker would call me. I wish the governor of New York would call me. They have tremendous crime, and all of them. And they would go just like Washington. We have the men. We have unlimited number of great men. One of the many things we got was from the Supreme Court of the United States. We went against merit. Merit had no place in our country. So people were getting into college with bad marks, with bad board scores, not great students, and they'd get into college, and people with straight A's, with the highest boards, everything else couldn't get into colleges, certain colleges, the top colleges, and we won based on merit. We now have a country. Frankly, I give a lot of credit to the Supreme Court on that one because that was a tough one for them. But we won. We now have a country based on merit. That goes for colleges. You get the best. If you have the highest marks and the best boards and all the things that you need, you don't get on based on race, color, creed, thought, look, height. You get on by merit. And you get into colleges by merit, and you get into the military by merit. So we had a military where we could not sign anybody. Before the election, November 5th, you could not get anybody. They couldn't get them. We couldn't recruit people. Now recruitment has gone to an all-time high. We've never had anything like it. And likewise, the soldiers, they are put in based on merit. Like, we'd like to have strong soldiers. I want my soldiers to be strong physically, and we have strong soldiers. And when the bad guys see our soldiers out on the streets of Washington, and you saw that, Jeff, you were saying, you said, I never saw so many big, strong, good-looking people. And it's all based on merit. So our military's got merit-based. Everything we do is merit-based, and we're not forced to take people that cannot do the job. And I tell you what, that was not an easy decision to make, as you can understand. But that's the way our country grew. We grew based on merit. We didn't grow based on, you got to have XXX and X. So I want to thank all of these people that have been so good. And I want to thank Jeff Landry because you've been a great governor. Thank you, Jeff. I was very honored to have endorsed you. And you avoided primaries, you avoided runoffs, you avoided everything, and you deserve it. Rob Bresnahan is here, congressman who's been fantastic. Rob, wherever you may be. Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much, Rob. Young, handsome guy. He could be up here someday. Who the hell knows, right, Rob? He's got the look. Along with the CEO of Intercontinental Exchange, Jeffrey Sprecher, my friend. Jeff? That means the New York Stock Exchange. That's another word for New York Stock Exchange and various other. I said, so you own the New York Stock Exchange? He said, yeah. I said, what else? He said he owns numerous exchanges, and I was very proud to see them together today with NASDAQ. But Jeff is great, and he's married to a person who's doing a phenomenal job at the SBA, small business. Nikki Minaj, who's so incredible. They call it small business, Nikki, but when you add it up, it's bigger than any bank probably in the world, right? I don't know. It's Larry. It's right up there. Small. It's not small business. But she's done fantastically, and I appreciate it. The president, Lynn Martin, NASDAQ, and chair and CEO, Adina is here. So you have Lynn and you have Adina, and they fight each other a little bit. I don't know. Do you fight? Where are you? Do you fight? Not too much, right? Boy, you've never gotten along so well. I think there will be no merger, however. I'm going to talk to Paul. Paul, don't let them merge, please. We need all the competition we can get. That's all we need. We get out of this a merger of NASDAQ and the New York. We will not allow that to happen, right, Paul? Also, President Nelson Griggs, you're here someplace, Nelson? Where are you? You've been great. Thank you. It's good to have you. I love the scene of the four of them. The four of them, and the bell is right in the middle. And I happen to be in that picture, but I got out because I wanted to have the picture of the four of them. It never happened before. We also have a woman that is so respected and so hot and so great and such a great friend of, I don't say conservative, I say of common sense. She's not conservative or liberal or, as they say now, progressive. Liberal became so tarnished, but now it's communist. They say social democrats. No, social democrat is a communist, all right, just so you know what I'm saying. There's no so. If you look at the people that are running, it's crazy what they're doing. But we'll never let that happen to this country. It can't happen to the country. You can't. There's no appetite for it, especially since we've literally now. You're going to see numbers coming out over the next 6 months, I think, that nobody will have ever seen before. But she's a fantastic person, and she's a woman that's respected by everybody, and she's got real talent. Nicki Minaj. Nicki, stand up, please. She's such a great person, respected by everybody. Today, 38% of Americans do not own stock, yet we have set 73 all-time records. It's now 82. They're a little bit late with their notes. With Trump accounts, every newborn child will be invested in the stock market. So they're going to be watching. You know, they'll be the next Larry Fink. They'll be the next chairman of Goldman Sachs. They'll take David's place. David will be very concerned about this. He's not going to like it. But they're going to be invested in our country. And it's going to be something. Every newborn child will be in the stock market, and one day you'll see what happens. And if we have good markets, if we have smart presidents, if we have people that know what they're doing, like Scott and all of the people that are work so hard, all of these children, so many of these children are going to be involved with the Trump account. They're going to watch their account grow. They're going to watch the country grow. They're going to be reading the newspapers. They'll want to go to the financial pages. But parents have to go to TrumpAccounts.gov. And many, many people are investing in this, and not for themselves. They're putting money in. As an example, Michael Dell and Susan Dell invested $6.25 billion. Think of that. Not everybody has to do quite that much. And I'm going to wait a little period of time, then I'll see him again. I'll say, well, how about doubling it up? But then he can do it, too. Amazing story. Started off making computers on his bed at a dorm. And I won't ask you which college. Where did you go to college?
University of Texas in Austin.
Oh, that's a good one, huh? University of Texas. That's a good one. It's great. We love the state. But I want to really give you a special shout out because of what you've done. You was right from the beginning. They were involved with Brad, and then you guys are very special. So I want to thank you and Susan. I want to also tell you that Brad is investing $250 to the accounts of all children under 5 in his home state of Indiana, and that $250 is going to grow very rapidly. That's a lot of money. The head of Micron, a friend of mine, CEO Sanjay Mehrotra, who last week announced that Micron will be making a $250 million investment in the Trump accounts. And I didn't name that account. That was a whole group of people got together. What's the best name for it? And they came to me and they said, what is this all about? And as soon as I heard it, I said, this is going to really work. And it really has. We're setting records with it. And it's just really now opening the complexity. And Scott, you're going to get this open really fast. You've got to do that really, really fast. Get it. It's just about complete. And we had some tremendous people working on it, but made possible by the provisions that we put in the great big beautiful bill. And I made reference today that Australia has a thing going that's very good. It's really worked out very well. We have good respect for Australia, and that has to do with people that are working people. And it's something that also puts them in much better shape when they're retirement age. So we're going to do that. We're looking at that very strongly. We're going to be taking that, and we're going to be maybe making it a little bit sharper, a little bit even better, but we're going to be doing that. And Scott, you're working on that immediately, right? You and the whole group, Howard, everybody. But already more than 6 million Americans have signed up for Trump accounts, and we've just started, many of which are receiving a one-time seed contribution of $1,000. So these are children, in many cases, extremely poor children, and they're starting off with $1,000, and then it goes up. And it comes out of the United States Treasury with contributions from parents, employees, churches, or generous Americans like these that we're gathered with. We have so many people here that have contributed a lot of money, and I just thought it would be so appropriate to have our first meeting at the Oval Office. It's a special, very special place. No place. I've been in a lot of offices. There's no place like the Oval in terms of overall impact and everything that it represents. There's no place like it. But the Trump accounts could grow to hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time they reach 18 or 21, or they can leave the account and have it put into a different fund at a certain point in their life, but hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time they turn 18. Think of that. You have a young child with no money, growing up in a rough area, and they turn 18 and they have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're going to help them when they get, because you can lose that hundreds of thousands of dollars very quickly if they're not careful. So I also want to recognize all of the outstanding employers who have committed to making contributions toward the Trump account, some of whom are here today. And in some cases, they're adding them to the employee benefit packages, including Uber, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Visa, Robinhood, MasterCard, Intel, IBM, AMD, Rusk Industries, and Steak and Shake, and many others are here, but too many to name, but it's really caught on. A lot of the big public companies are doing tremendous amounts of, they're taking care of all of the children of their employees. Some are taking care of. Brad has picked up a large portion of the children in the state of Indiana. I didn't know he was that rich, Michael. You know, he's a rich guy. I learned about Brad. You're a rich guy. That's a lot of children. Indiana. I won Indiana by 35 points, so I like it. We love Indiana. That's great what you're doing, Brad. But we're doing that. People are picking up states. So for years, Washington politicians have left our children with nothing but debt, nothing but problems. Now, with the help of so many of you here today, we're jumpstarting financial freedom for young Americans and helping them to build the future they deserve. And also, there's tremendous tax benefit to doing this. You know, sometimes you don't like saying that because it's a nasty word, but there's tremendous tax benefit. And perhaps there's some people that are okay with that, but it doesn't make any difference. There's a great tax benefit. And also for the children, there's a tremendous tax benefit. There is no tax, it's called. I don't know if we can complain. Ted, will anybody sue us because we're giving children a form of tax assistance? You think we'll be sued? Yeah, I think so. Somebody will sue. They'll say, you are giving advantage to a young person who just got $1,000. But you never know, but I doubt it. With us today is Kensley Reedwin, a rising sixth grader, very smart and a budding entrepreneur. Perhaps the next Michael Dell. Where is Kensley? Where are you, Kensley? Who's so standing? Oh, look how beautiful. Good luck. Do you think you'll be as rich as Michael Dell? I think yes. You'll be richer than Michael Dell, right? Congratulations, Kensley. Thank you for being here, honey. But Kensley's been investing her earnings into a 401k. By the way, 401ks are up like 49% in the last 7 or 8 months. And everybody likes me that has a 401k because it's the biggest rise, last year and a half, biggest rise in history. So, you know, a lot of people have become rich by having their 401k. And Kensley, thank you very much. I heard you're doing fantastically well in investing your money into a 401k, but now she'll be contributing to her very own Trump account, and that's going to even be better. So we're going to watch you all the way up. We're going to watch you go up that ladder, Kensley, okay? We'll be watching. So just in closing, it's so great to have you here. A place that we were never able to use because of the conditions of the soil. And now it's become the hottest place there is probably in the country. Every time we have an event at the Rose Garden, everyone just says, yes, we want to go. And you're going to love the food made by the military and the White House staff. And it's an honor to have everybody. But I want to just thank so many minds went into this. Not easy. And Scott's going to work overtime to get the final little touches done so it really kicks in even faster because we're setting records. The numbers are incredible. But we want to get it finished so everyone can fill out their and finalize their accounts, Scott, you and the people. But you've done a great job. And again, thank you all very much. Have a good lunch. Should we put on a little music? Yes? This way you don't have to talk to each other. You just have to listen to music. So we're going to put on a little music, the Trump playlist, okay? And we'll have a little fun. Again, thank you all. This is really a very, I think, a historic moment in a sense, but it's going to be really great. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys. You guys have a great day. See you tomorrow. A great game, by the way, with Argentina. In case you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you, but it was a great game.